Good evening, my name is Patrick. You're all very welcome to this evening's Yin Yoga practice. Start in a comfortable Shavasana. So lying on the mat, with your feet wide on the mat. The arms are also wide. Palms facing up. Gently closing your eyes. Start bringing attention to your breath. Focusing on where you feel the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Feeling in the nose, in the back of the throat. Feel the chest rising, abdomen rising on the inhale, and as you exhale, feel the abdomen sinking, chest sinking, and the breath exiting through the throat and the nose. Just carrying on for a few moments, observing the gentle inflow and outflow of the breath, allowing your breath to settle. If thoughts occur, just observe these, but let them pass, trying to find stillness between the thoughts. We're going to start now to cultivate the breath. So as always, I'm just going to use the metronome to help with the counting. So in your next exhale, if you hold your breath and inhale for 4, exhale 4, inhale 4, exhale 4, inhale 4, exhale 4, inhale 4, exhale 4, inhale 4, exhale 6. Inhale 4, exhale 6. Inhale 4, exhale 6. Inhale 4, exhale 6. Inhale 6, 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 exhale 8. Inhale 6, exhale 8. Inhale 6, exhale 8. Inhale 6, Exhale 8. Inhale 8. Exhale 8. Inhale 8. Exhale 8. Inhale 8. Exhale 8. Inhale 8. Exhale 8. So returning now to natural breathing rhythm. So throughout the practice, I invite you to focus on the breath, focusing on the breath and observing any physical sensations you're feeling in the asanas. But most of you have been to my yin classes before know yin practice is a slower type of yoga where we are holding asanas for 3 to 5 minutes. It's focusing more on the deeper joint and ligaments, deep fascia tissues to gradually kind of loosen out the joints to help with the spine, shoulders, the hips, all of the joints. It's very beneficial to our overall health. It's an excellent mindful practice during the poses to focusing on the breath and focusing on the physical sensations. There's a lot of benefits, both psychologically, also helping to let go of unwanted negative emotions. Just try to focus on all this during the practice today, which hopefully you will enjoy. So coming out of Shavasana, the first asana we're going to come to this evening is saddle pose. So we're going to start off in a kneeling position. Suppose you can sit on your heels if your hips are tight, but if it's possible to draw your feet apart and sink down between your heels. You can use any props that you need. You can sit on the block if that feels better this evening. So everything is kind of loosened out. So from here, we're going to gradually fold back. Just walking your hands back and allowing everything to open and relax. Shoulder blades are drawn together. The head is dropping back. Keeping the breath slow and regular. Slow, deep inhales, long exhales. Staying in this position for a minute, just allowing the quads to loosen out. Welcome to stay here. You're getting a good quad stretch. If you have placed any prop under your seat, you can take this away. And if your pelvis is resting comfortably on the mat, go back onto your forearms. You may feel a deep stretch here in the quadriceps. You have a lot of flexibility in the hips, the quads are starting to relax. You can sink down fully onto the mat, but only go to the level of your flexibility. We always discuss in Yin Yoga the green zone, the orange zone, the red zone. Green zone is where you're not feeling anything. The red zone is where you're feeling too much pinching, even pain. Definitely not to stay in that zone, to come back to the orange zone. In the orange zone, you're feeling a deep stretch, but it's comfortable. It's not causing any stress or strain. So staying in the orange zone, knowing your own limitations. Just staying here for one more minute in whichever position feels comfortable. As always, focusing on the breath, keeping the breath slow and relaxed, deep inhales, long exhales, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, and focusing on any physical sensations. If you're feeling any tightness, sending the breath there. Staying here 30 more seconds. And slowly coming out of the pose. From here, we're going to come into child's pose. So in child's pose, you can keep the knees together. If you want a deeper hip opening stretch, you can separate the knees wide on the mat, letting hips sink back. Allowing your forward to sink onto the mat. You can place a cushion or a block under your forward if that feels more comfortable. You can fold your arms back, palms facing up. Or you can bring your hands forward, getting a gentle stretch into the shoulders. So again, allowing everything to soften and relax. Focusing on the breath. Observing physical sensations. Sending your breath to areas of tightness. Visualizing the tissues soften and relax. Your knees are wide on the mat. You'll be feeling this asana in the external hip rotators. Also in the quadriceps. Across the shoulders.
Also getting a stretch into the lumbar spine. Very good asana for releasing tightness in the fascia in the lumbar spine. And taking one more minute here. Just coming up to tabletop and releasing any sensations. Making some gentle movements to circle. Relax the hips. Next asana we're coming to this evening is to a yogi squat. Yogi squat. We're going to place our knees wide, toes pointing out. We're going to allow the hips to sink down. This asana is very challenging. It's fine, still in a block. You're still getting great benefits from the asana in this position. Allowing the hips to open, breaking on the external rotators. There's a deep stretch for the glutes. Try to remain in a position where both of your feet are pressing into the mat. Using any props that help you in the asana. This can be a challenging asana for anybody with knee issues, so just being careful, be mindful of your own body. Again, focusing on the breath, focusing on any physical sensations that you're feeling. If you feel any tightness, sending your breath there. Trying to let everything soften and relax. Your mind is wandering if thoughts occur, observing these, letting them pass. Coming back to your breath. 30 more seconds here. Coming out of the yogi squat, coming to crocodile pose. Crocodile pose, lying onto your belly, making a pillow of your hands, and allowing your head, your forehead to gently rest on your hands. After the intensity of the yogi squat, letting go of any sensations, any tightness, allowing the body to soften and relax. Coming out of crocodile pose, now we're going to come to seal pose. Seal pose, pressing your elbows into the mat, forearms are parallel, drawing your shoulder blades together. This asana, you're getting a gentle extension in the spine, stretching the front line, flex abdominal muscles. Keeping the focus on your breath. Deep inhales, long, gentle exhales. We're also getting a gentle stretch into the hip flexors in this asana. And 30 more seconds here. For some people, this can be quite a gentle pose. For others, it may be more intense. Just coming out of Sphinx pose and coming to crocodile pose for a minute. Again, just letting go of any sensations, allowing the body to soften and relax. Coming out of crocodile pose now, we're going to come to seal pose. So we're going to place our hands under our shoulders or slightly ahead of the shoulders, pressing up just to straighten the arms. Depending on the amount of extension that's available in your spine, you may need to move your hands forward. You can also place a bolster or a cushion under your chest if that makes the pose more accessible. This can be quite an intense pose, so just being mindful of your own body, be careful. If it's too challenging, you can come down to Sphinx pose. Again, trying to keep the breath slow and relaxed. Focusing on physical sensations, areas of tightness arise, sending your breath there. This can be quite a strong asana for hip flexors on the front line of the body. If you have any lower back issues, you may feel a slight pinching in the lower spines, just being careful. Stay in the orange zone, don't go into the red zone. Coming down to see the pose at any time it feels too challenging. Take one more minute here. Keeping the breath slow and relaxed. Coming slowly out of seal pose now. I'm going to come back again to child's pose. So again, depending what your body needs this evening, keep your knees together or have them slightly apart. Allowing your hips to drop back. Preferred to gently come onto the mat or a cushion. Arms can be forward or back behind in embryo pose. Allowing everything to soften and relax. Keeping stillness in the mind, if thoughts rise, observe them, let them pass. Bringing the attention back to your breath. Observing any physical sensations in the body. Allowing everything to soften and become still. Taking 30 more seconds here. Next pose we're going to come this evening is square pose. So the way I normally recommend setting up for a square pose, initially we're going to step onto right foot and bring the sole of the left foot to the outside, right to the right hand side, and allow the right heel to sink to the left. Now, depending on your degree of flexibility, you can sit back onto a block. If you have a good range of movement in your hips, your sitting bones may extend down to the mat. An easier version of this pose is called half shoelace, open shoelace, where you can place on this side the sole of your left foot resting on the mat. This is quite an intense stretch for the hips. Just be mindful of staying in the orange zone, allowing everything to soften and relax. Very good stretch for the external rotators in the hips. Also the quads. Again, focusing on the breath. Taking deep inhales, long exhales. Noticing any areas of tightness, particularly in the hips. Sending your breath there and visualizing everything soften and relax. As everything softens, you may be able to release props. Be nice to close your eyes in this asana, remaining still, letting everything soften and relax. We enter the pose, coming back onto our knees, going back, kneeling on the mat, and then going the opposite way. So this time, moving the right foot over to the left hand side, lifting your left foot onto the mat. Your right foot is on the left-hand side of the mat, left foot on the right. And again, sitting onto the mat, sitting onto a block or bolster pillow. You can take the open shoelace version by placing your left foot on the mat. Slightly easier version if your hips are tight. If you're comfortable in square pose, staying in this position. As on the other side, quite an intense stretch for the external rotators, also the quads. Keeping the breath regular and slow. Focusing on physical sensations, areas of tightness, sending the breath there. Again, gently closing your eyes. Try to remain mindful, keeping your focus on the breath and physical sensations, observing thoughts, but letting them go. For 30 more seconds here. Coming out of the pose, coming up onto your knees. Sitting down onto the mat. Bending your knees, drawing your feet in close to your sitting bones. We're going to come to angel pose. Going to hug our knees, gripping opposite elbows. Now go forward, touch up our knees. This asana is a gentle release. The tissues in the lower spine and the lumbar spine, and particularly the fascia, where a lot of discomfort is held. Also, again, a stretch for the quadriceps. Getting a gentle cervical neck extension.
Staying with the breath, remaining mindful. Focusing on the feet, observing any physical sensations. Thirty more seconds here. Next asana we come to is dragonfly. So in dragonfly, we're going to straighten your legs. Feet are wide as is comfortable. If your hamstrings are tight, you can sit on a block or a blanket or a towel just to raise your seat. Makes the pose more accessible. This is a stretch for the hamstrings, also the groins. Here we're going to fold forward, placing your hands on the mat. Now the upper body to gently relax. And also keep holding your ankles or feet. The knees are sinking towards the mat, feeling a gentle stretch in the hamstrings. And the upper body is releasing towards the mat. Sasana is working on the hamstrings, on the calves, and again on the tissues in the lumbar spine, the muscles and fascia. Keeping your focus on the breath. Observing any physical sensations. Taking one more minute here. Coming out of dragonfly, we're going to take corpse pose for a minute just to reset, moving any props to one side. Just lying onto the mat. Letting go of any sensations that you may have felt in the last pose, particularly in the lower back. Allowing everything to soften and relax. Deep inhales and long, smooth exhales. Coming out of corpse pose now, we're going to come to snail pose. So in snail pose, we're going to come to a shoulder stand, pressing our hands into our hips. Be careful of the neck. If you have neck issues, you can place a bolster under your shoulders. Staying here for a moment, just allowing the legs to drop back. It can be difficult to breathe slowly in this asana. Can allow your hands to gently release into the mat, or keep them pressed against the hips. You have a lot of flexibility, you can bend your knees. Being careful in this asana if you have any neck issues. Stay in the orange zone. Focusing on the breath, observing any physical sensations. And slowly come out of the asana. And again, taking corpse pose. Just reset, just release all the sensations you felt in that challenging asana. And the feet to drop out to the sides. focusing on the breath, letting go of physical sensations. We're coming now to revolve twist. So drawing your heels in towards the sitting bones, placing the soles of our feet on the mat. Going to lift left leg over the right. Stretching your arms out to your finger T. We're going to allow the knees to gently release to the right, gaze to the left. Keeping both shoulder blades gently pressed into the earth. Should feel this in the transverse abdominals. You're also getting a gentle stretch in the cervical muscles. Also the quadriceps. Should also feel a release across the shoulders. Again, keeping your focus on the breath. Take one more minute here. Coming out of the asana slowly, releasing legs back onto the mat. And gently windscreen wiper the legs here, loose down the hips. Come back to center and changing sides. So lifting this time the right leg over the left. Allowing the knees to release to the left hand side. Gazing out over the right fingertips. Again, observing where you feel any physical sensations. You should feel a release across the shoulders. Feel it in the transverse abdominals. In the thoracic spine. Both shoulder blades gently pressing into the mat. Keeping your eyes closed. Keeping your focus on the breath. Observing any physical sensations. Sending your breath to any areas of tightness. A few more seconds here. Slowly coming out of the pose. Releasing the legs, placing both feet flat on the mat. Again, you can gently think principally right where the knees release from hips. Coming back to center and coming to your final Shavasana. So again, in Shavasana, of course, pose, your feet are wide on the mat. Toes dropping out to the sides. The arms are also wide on the mat. Palms facing up. Keeping the eyes gently closed. Focusing on the breath. As you inhale, feeling the gentle rise of the abdomen. And as you exhale, feeling the abdomen sinking down towards the mat. Observing any physical sensations or areas of tightness within the body. Sending your breath to these areas. Bringing your focus to points of contact between your physical body and the mat. Allowing everything to soften and release. Trying to find stillness in the mind. If thoughts are occurring, observe them, let them pass. Asking yourself, am I my thoughts or the observer of thoughts? Silent witness. Trying to be this silent witness. You can try a practice here of deliberately having a thought. Example, my favorite color is blue. Catching that thought and releasing it through the crown chakra. Trying this practice with thoughts that arise. Using this practice to find stillness between the thoughts. Bringing your attention again back to your breath, observing the inflow and outflow of the breath. Waking up the physical body, start to wiggle fingers and toes, make gentle circles with the wrists and ankles. Rock the head slowly from side to side. Wish to take a deep stretch, reaching your arms up overhead on a deep inhale and sighing it out. One more deep inhale, sigh it out. Give yourself one last well-deserved hug. Taking as much time as you need. Gently dropping onto the right-hand side. And again, in your own time, pressing the left hand into the mat, coming up to any comfortable seated position. You may wish to place your hands in prayer, thanking yourself for coming to practice this evening. Could have done a lot of other things. Thanking your physical body and being grateful for everything it has done this evening. Also thanking your fellow yogis, yoginis, for joining you in the practice. And I'd like to thank you sincerely for letting me lead the practice. Hopefully see you in class soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Namaste. Thank you.